Mike Marshall didn't have a bad one either, Howard, and still does. Now Johnny Lowenstein comes on. He was on the big air by Garner in the first inning. That accounted for a couple of runs. He later came on to score, and he struck out, so he's 0 for 2. But along with that, the 1 RBI. Romo certainly no stranger. As we mentioned before, he was with Seattle, so Baltimore knows a little bit about Romo. You want to know? Here's a case where you look at Weaver and you know that you got Romo, who does not throw a lot of fastballs. He tried to sneak that one by Johnny Lowenstein, and with the score 5-1, and even though you have that hole open on the first base side, but you've got good speed in Murray, and he's liable to green light it, and Romo knows that. Here's a case sometimes where you, with speed, you take away the best pitch from the pitcher, and that is Romo's screwball. Lowenstein fighting that screwgee off. The count 1-1. Baltimore 5 runs on 5 hits as you look at Earl Weaver in the Baltimore dugout. Boy, that's quite a career record.
And he has a good time doing it.
He's a good, solid baseball man. Fly ball center field, Moreno. That is out number 1. Now with 1 out and Murray at first base, that'll bring on Doug DeCinces, who homered his first time at bat, and he walked in the 3rd, so he's 1 for 1 and has a couple of RBIs.
Remember what we said early in the telecast about the unexpected ones so often being World Series heroes. Of course, we're only in game 1 and it's very early. But this is the kind of guy who doesn't have the big stats going into the series who can kill you. And in this first game, he is thus far, apart from possibly Mike Flanagan, the outstanding player with his 2-run home run.
We're through 4.5. There you can see a little bit better as far as that dirt and mud going along in shallow left center field. 0-1. He went with the breaking pitch. Bottom of the 5th, game 1 of the 1979 World Series, and boy, those 3 errors underneath that E for Pittsburgh have been, well, 2 of them been mighty big. Pretty good move that time by Romo. All he does is drop that left leg back, and he's got a pretty quick move over there. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. DeCinces with a big hole to shoot through on that right side. Garner cheating over towards the bag a little bit at his second base position. And of course, Stargell, there you see the hole. And Stargell holding Murray at first base. 2 balls and a strike.
He had him set up for that pitch, didn't he? And let him get it outside.
DeCinces, you know, it's interesting to watch his stance. He just lays that bat right on the right shoulder. Says, all right, I'm ready. Romo, of course, aware of the speed that Eddie Murray possesses at first base. Baltimore, and Romo taking too much time as DeCinces will back out. Get a guy that has all those pitches, and he starts shaking you off. It's hard to figure out which one he wants to throw, especially if he wants to decoy once in a while. That breaking pitch, and he hung it to Sensei, a little unhappy with himself.
Is he a little bit like a younger Louis Tiant?
Louis will make you wait. He'll make you wait a little bit. He doesn't have that kind of stair-step stretch coming down where he just kind of bounce like Tiant does. But he'll make you wait a little bit. He is not the fastest worker in baseball, you can say that. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Little looper, and it could be trouble. Parker will be there. And he just about slipped as he made the catch. Now Murray at first base, 2 outs, and the second baseman Billy Smith comes on. I'd love to have a sound mic on Parker's shoes out there in right field.
Yeah, if it's a warmer night, the frogs would be croaking.
You know that he's got to be sloshing around.
Yeah, but I tell you, the beating this thing has taken. They've had 5 football games here. The weather just hammered.
3 of them in the rain, Keith.
And it's incredible they could even get it in this good a shape. They really have worked their tail off.
That is how the Birds picked up a big 5 in the first inning. There goes Murray. There's a strike, and forget about it. Nicosia could not find the handle, and Murray has a stolen base standing up. Billy Smith, he is just tickled to death to be in this series. He said, you know, it's like a kid in Wonderland. I guess that could be true, I guess, for everybody that's been in a World Series a time or two, or even the first time, especially the first time.
And especially a young man who really isn't going to be a regular for somebody, but, you know, if fortune has it, now they're going to put him on. So he can, one of these days, tell his grandchildren they walked me intentionally.
And, of course, the reasoning behind that, you've got the right-hand hitter, Rick Dempsey, standing right behind him.
Yeah, but Rick is a dangerous hitter despite his low batting stance. This Baltimore team lulls you. They really do, Don.
They do. It's a funny club. If you watch them enough during the course of the year, after a while you sit back and say, well, yeah, he says, I know they've won. I know they've won 102 games. Eddie Murray, the reason Garner was over there, just making sure that Murray wasn't going to get too far off the bag. But the thing about Baltimore, they don't have a lot of sensational players. They've got good, steady, everyday players. They play Earl Weaver baseball. They play sound, fundamental baseball. But they've got great pitching. And they just don't beat themselves.
And they're a team.
And they are a team. And he goes through everybody. Here's Dempsey. He is 0 for 2. Line to short and bounced to second. 0-1 on a breaking pitch.
He might like to have that pitch back. That was up a touch.
Up a touch. Got a slider over the plate. 0-1. Here's a guy here that you don't pay attention to him, and he's going to hurt you with it. Had a big key double here in the very first game against the Angels in the playoff series. Hit it off the piping in left field. Murray at second, and Billy Smith at first.
Yeah.
You could see the difference in the thinking right there. Romo shaking his head. Nicosia wanted it down and away, and he got it up over the head of Dempsey.
That earned run average, Haddix will tell you, is totally deceptive for the last 23 games he's appeared in.
2 balls and a strike. You see, Romo really doesn't like as you look at Murray at second base. And at first base, Billy Smith, hands in the back pocket trying to keep him warm. Doesn't like to give you that fastball to hit. He'll show it to you to try and set up the curveball, the slider, or the screwball. That is not his best pitch. That's about his third best pitch. Slider low. 3-1.
Let me tell you something about Rick Dempsey. He started hitting pretty well in the late season, and he attributes it to Coach Jim Fry, who had him close his stance. So many hitters find at least temporary advantages out of a change of batting stance. Of course, the great ones adjust according to the pitcher, like Rod Carew's got 4 basic stances. Dempsey's not in that kind of hitting class, of course, but he can hurt you in the clutch.
Full count now, 3-2, and with 2 outs, the runners will be going. Murray from second base and Billy Smith from first. It's 5-1 Baltimore. We're in the bottom of the 5th. You see Billy Smith talking with his first base coach, Jimmy Fry.
How about Jimmy Fry? One of the rumors, and good Lord, with all the gathering of baseball people this time of the year, there are a million rumors. I don't know if there's any substance to it at all, but a lot of talk that Jim Fry might get the call to go to Kansas City as manager.
It's a pretty good ball club to inherit.
Runners go. That's loop foul. Well, the count remains full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on.
Beginning with George Brett.
Yeah, how'd you like to inherit George Brett?
Excuse me, I did a show with him over the weekend at Pepperdine University. He had been out hunting with Whitey Herzog, the deposed manager. He's in great shape, by the way. He said, I came too late, hit 329. He said, I should have hit 350 this year.
Runners go again, and he pops him up in shallow left field. There is Robinson, and that is out number 3. Well, Baltimore is gone. They lead it 5-1 through 5, and we'll be back with more baseball after this word from our local stations.
But it's the pitch that made him, as he said it, a 4-pitch pitcher instead of a 2-pitch pitcher. It's the pitch that made him a complete pitcher.
Another change, and it's bounced foul by Joe Lynette. And Parker has to go back, and the count moves to 1-2.
David had that big 5-hit game against the Cubbies in the final series of the regular season. That's when he was going with the pitch to left. When it was outside, he was hitting inside out. Now here against the Southpaw, he's hit everything to right.
Well, that'll change his scouting report a little bit, Howard, if you start looking at that and say, well, wait a minute, this guy's going the other way, just trying to pick up some singles here and drive in some runs. So they've tried to jam him a few times, and he had just come up to the occasion. There's a jam job, and that's a good one, too. 1-2 the count.
At the same time, Don, there are certain pitchers who will ignore scouting reports as you look at this again.
He gets that pitch right in. A little half swing, check swing there by Robinson. Well, the pitcher still has to pitch his own game.
That's right. That's the point.
Can't go away from your strengths.
Kent Tekulve, for instance. He throws one way. He throws out all the scouting reports. At age 15, growing up in Cincinnati, they already called him the whip. He throws like Ewell Blackwell. And he throws that
loop to right, and that's going to be a base hit. As Singleton gets on it in a hurry, and Parker has to stop at second base, so all of a sudden the Bucks have got something going here in the 6th inning.
The one thing about a scout report for a pitcher is you can't put circumstances on a piece of paper. That's the problem.
Now the Bucks on top of the Baltimore Orioles in the hit department 6-5, but with 3 errors for Pittsburgh. Baltimore on top in the run department 5-1 as Willie Stargell comes on.
And here they are chopping back.
Well, they're just one big swing of the bat in this guy from being right back in it.
Stoddard's also working in the bullpen for the Birds.
Good off-speed curveball. There's Stoddard, the big guy on the left side, and left-hander Tippy Martinez on the right side of your screen.
Stoddard is huge. He's the Raddatz type.
He's a power forward in the basketball.
That's right.
Stargell 0 for 2 tonight, has struck out and bounced a second. Drop from the side. 0-2 the count.
Notice no batting gloves for Starcher.
That is a rarity today. There's Chuck Tanner. Good speed curveball.
He has really pitched Willie beautifully. Strikeout number 5, and the second time he's gotten Willie. Look at it again.
Comes by way of first base. He's taken just enough off of it, and Stargell has already committed himself. Here's Madlock. Bounce to third and walk. Loop to right center, but Singleton coming on in a hurry and makes the catch. Now Parker has to stay at second base, and Robinson at first base.
On that turf, that was not an easy play.
No, it wasn't. I'll guarantee you Earl Weaver took a deep gulp down in that dugout.
Kenny had to go all out and risk that his spikes would hold. The chief groundskeeper told us the spikes would hold. Dave Parker has had trouble in that area tonight with the spikes. But for Kenny and Frank Robinson right there, motioning to his outfielders where to play.
Made a pretty good pitch on Mal. He got that pitch in on him. He had to kind of inside out that ball a little bit. Don Robinson throwing in the bullpen for Pittsburgh.
That's a fireballer. Throws bullets.
Now, while they have a little chat at the mound, Nicosia will go back and grab the pine tar rag. 2 outs, 2 on, 5-1 Baltimore. We're in the top of the 6th.
Robinson's one of those guys. He's got to use his strengths. He's got to pitch his game as you look at it. Same thing as I was saying with Tekulve. The whip-like arm, the buggy whip arm, everything low.
He's got good stuff. If he's healthy, that's the key to Robinson this year. Nicosia 0 for 2 tonight. Hit hard and look out, foul. Well, Flanagan had the first 2 men on. Singles by Parker and Robinson. He struck out Stargell and got Madlock to fly to right. Good change. And you saw how far Nicosia was out in front. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's Parker at second base.
Still, Flanagan's been flirting with trouble. First 2 men on as you look at Robinson on first. Parker on second. Last inning. Garner got him for a double to open the inning. It can catch up to you.
Change inside and the count 2-1. See that breath, Flanagan. It is chilling. 86 pitches by Flanagan so far. Three and 1. Murray trying to slip in behind Robinson at first base. Garner in the on-deck circle. There he is.
He's the man who doubled to open the 5th.
Hit to the hole. DeCinces boots the ball, picks it up, and can't make a play. Parker goes to third. His second base is Robinson, and the Pirates have the bases loaded. Well, we'll see how they score that as you take another peek at it.
Tough play. The ball really didn't. It hung up in the air for a long time and forced Doug into the position of having to short hop it. But they're going to give him an error.
He deserved it.
Well, that's what you get after they watch you make great plays all the time.
That's right.
Now's the chance for Garner to really atone for that first inning error that opened the door to DeCinces' 2-run home. This is the first Baltimore fielding mistake, the one you just saw. And let's see if the Pirates can capitalize. Good
fastball for a strike. 89 miles an hour. They clock it. Lee Lacy down in the on-deck circle.
And that is a good pinch hitter, the former Dodger.
Good off-speed curveball. There's Mrs. Garner. What do you think she isn't pulling?
What a beautiful change of speed pitch.
Garner closed the regular season with a 14-game hitting streak, and now the fans come alive here in Baltimore. The 2 strikes. They look for the strikeout. Look out, and a great save by Dempsey.
How about that?
That had backstop all over it, didn't it?
Oh, this was it. Look at it again. This is a truly exceptional play.
Tried to take a little bit off of that breaking pitch inside and bounce it down at the feet, and that is a tough play for a catcher, but look the way Dempsey played.
Wild pitch written all over. Inside. Vision obscured by the batter to some degree. The body not able to get behind the ball, and yet the use of the glove to block it.
Well, the fans still, they look for the strikeout. DeCinces, and it's foul. Hands on their feet.
Hey,
right there.
He really tried to decoy Terry Tater, didn't he?
He did.
Got in between Tater and the ball, too.
It's beautifully done. The man could become an actor. Watch this.
He got right in front of the
Beautiful pickup, too.
That's one of the things. Look at that backhanded pickup. You talk about soft hands.
Next week, he gets the Joe Namath Rolling Picnic in Akron, Ohio.
Now they call time as they move the golf cart out in the Pittsburgh bullpen. They usually move that golf cart back and forth. They bring the pitchers in and they switch usually.
They ought to get 2 of those carts.
That's right. Uh-oh. That's foul, and he hung himself a little off-speed curveball, and Garner was not fooled that much. A ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs, bases loaded, 5-1 Baltimore.
Garner is a tough player.
There's Parker at third. Robinson at second. And at first base, that is Steve Nicosia.
And he's a tough player because he's played tough with the Oakland A's.
Shake him around in the Baltimore dugout.
When they had that great old gang in Oakland.
Well, it appeared when they had that great old gang, Howard, that when he took over for Dick Green, that they were going to stay with that great old gang. But
by the way, there's another of those unsung World Series heroes,
That's
Dick
right.
Green.
That's right. A ball, 2 strikes.
How do you like that figure? That's the one we mentioned earlier.
Hit hard, base hit left field. Here comes Parker. Here comes Robinson. Lowenstein will bring it back to third base, and all of a sudden it is 5-3 Baltimore with the tying runs aboard.
Coming back, and certainly Garner has a tone.
I'll tell you, he just fights that slider off of him and hits it to the hole, and now that will bring out Earl Weaver. Lowenstein has no play. Johnny just makes a good play to get in front of the ball and get it back in. So Weaver will talk to Flanagan and Dempsey.
You've had Stoddard, you've had Stone, and now you're getting Tippy Martinez up in the bullpen. So there have been 3 pitchers out of the Baltimore pen, but Earl just stomps a little bit and tries to jack up Flanagan and leaves it.
Staying with Mike. In the meantime, as you look at Garner, as he got that hit, and you look back through the years with Phil, and the way he produces in the clutch. Here's Lee Lacy. Told you earlier he was on deck, the ex-Dodger. That's the kid, Phil Garner, right there. He likens this Pirates team or clubhouse to the way it used to be in Oakland.
0-1 to Lacy, who hit .247 on the year with 5 home runs and 15 RBIs. Now the Pirates trying to fight back. The tying runs aboard.
Lacy's grown accustomed to this pace. He's the only man in baseball who's played in the last 3 World Series.
That's right.
With the Dodgers for the last 2 years, and now this year with the Bucks.
Paycheck's getting to be a habit.
He kind of likes it.
It's like Bob Fleming used to be in the Super Bowls.
That's bounce foul. Joe Lynette will make the play. Lacy coming to the Pirates in the re-entry free agent draft this year.
Fleming used to have an answering service. Left a message at his home. Have gone to play for the season. Reach me after the Super Bowl.
No balls, 2 strikes to Lee Lacy. 2 outs, 2 on. 5-3 Baltimore. We're in the top of the 6th. DeCinces bobbles the ball. Does he make the play? No! And he can't make the tag. So 2 errors by Doug DeCinces here in the 6th inning has given the Pirates the light.
And how quickly the shifting tides of fortune can change.
There you look at it again, and the ball, actually the ball, Doug let the ball play him. The ball came up on him, then he misses the tag. And then the Koja just about slides by the bag, and he almost gets him coming back as you take another peek at it.
Talk about the brilliance of his defensive play. You give him the edge over Matlock in fielding for that brilliance. You talk with him about his great play to save the series against the Angels. And just then, he comes up with 2 errors that have led to the Bucks' 2 runs thus far in this inning.
There's Moreno with the bases loaded. Good fastball, and he had something on that on pitch number 100.
There's Omar's wife again.
Come on, sweetie. He's rooting too.
Guess what? He's going to get called the rest of his career.
Pops him up. Bunbury right there. And that is out number 3. So the Bucks are gone, but they pick up a couple of runs. And after 5 1/2, it is 5-3 Baltimore.
That's Phil Garner. I talked about the Oakland clubhouse, the Pittsburgh clubhouse. He's been in both. I talked with him about that. Would you contrast for me the atmosphere in the Oakland clubhouse when they were in their heyday with the atmosphere in this current Bucks clubhouse?
A lot of similarities. Of course, there's the same free-spirited atmosphere. There's a lot of jovial kidding, a lot of jiving back and forth, a lot of games being played against ball players. I think there's a certain amount of camaraderie that we have among our teammates here that we certainly had in Oakland. But I think the big thing, the 2 big things are, we had a great leader in Oakland in Sal Bando. We have a great leader in this clubhouse in Will Stargell. But another great similarity between the 2 clubs is that although we kid around in the clubhouse a lot and sometimes we get angry at each other, but once we put that uniform on, we're strictly professional. We have one thing in mind, that's to go out and win a ball game.
Now the words of Phil Garner. He drove in a couple in the 6th inning for Pittsburgh to make it 5-3 Baltimore. And you're looking at Don Robinson. He is the 4th Pirate pitcher. We said before, Chuck Tanner will go through that staff if he has to. He'll try and hold you wherever he can. Robinson, on the year, he only relieved 4 times. He started 25 times, a record of 8-8, and a 3.86 ERA as he will face Flanagan, the bottom of the order, and then go to the top of the order in Bunbury and Belanger. In the championship series, Robinson got a save and a victory, but he's had problems with a sore right shoulder this year.
Oh, he can fire, though.
Oh, he can throw. You hate to see a young man like that can throw the way he can throw. And he just threw that first one 93 miles an hour. A good breaking pitch. Two 2-0.
He's a great big old strong guy. Born in Ashland, Kentucky. Lives now in Canova, West Virginia. He's 6'4", 230 pounds.
2 balls and a strike the count.
He's only 22.
He can turn it loose. say one thing about Flanagan.
He's got a swing.
Get cheated.
For a guy who hasn't hit in how many years?
Oh, I don't know. But, that was one of the things they talked about, Mike Flanagan. You two guys brought it up a little bit earlier, that he can swing the bat a little bit. He hasn't actually hit for himself since 1975, and I guess that was down at Rochester. They were laughing here and had stories in the paper about the pitchers, the Baltimore pitchers, getting them ready to hit. Somebody, I think, made the right statement when they said, it's kind of like riding a bicycle once you learn how. And if you can do it all right, well, you really never forget. Good swing, but he strikes out.
You look at this ball game in perspective. You can see how quickly the ebb and flow can change. In the first inning, DeCinces with the 2-run home run, the hero. Then DeCinces with the 2 errors, the GOAT. In the first inning, Garner with the big error, the GOAT. But now Garner with those 2 runs driven in and 2 hits in his last 2 at-bats, coming on, making up for the mistake of the first inning.
Now that will bring on Bunbury. Foul away. Well, this program is being brought to you as an exclusive presentation of ABC Sports. Now let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves. Oh, and 1 to Al. He is 1 for 2 tonight with a run scored. There's that good breaking pitch. 0-2 the count. To Foley, he's got to go, and they get him. 2 gone. And this telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited.
I'm glad you finally got to read that.
He's been waiting all season. The big thrill.
There's 2 gone, and here's Mark Belanger.
Meanwhile,
look out.
As usual, the Twin D got us some runs. We've got a tough, tight ball game now. And a typical Pittsburgh ball game. Coming back, and the relievers holding on.
A ball and a strike to Belanger. He's 0 for 2, but he walked in the first and scored a run. That was an unearned run.
The Birds have not had a hit for 3 2/3 innings.
That again is a little bit of a trait of Baltimore. Sometimes they'll sneak up on you in a hurry. Then all of a sudden they'll throw some leather and good pitching at you. And most of the time, that will be enough. But you're in the World Series now. You're playing the best of the other league.
And yet, in perfect truth, errors have led to all of the scores. 3 errors for the Bucks, 2 for the Birds.
A ball and 2 strikes to Belanger. Oh. Just missed.
Yes, he says, hanging in there.
2 hops to Foley. Low, and Stargell a good play to dig it out. And Baltimore gone 1, 2, 3 here in the 6th inning. 3 up, 3 down. There, you look at it one more time. Foley stayed back now. He sees the big hop. And now in the dirt to Stargell. And the big guy stays right with it, makes a good play. So, after 6, 5-3 Baltimore. That's the story from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Game 1 of the 1979 World Series. I'm Don Drysdale, Keith Jackson, Howard Cosell, as we go to the 7th. And once again, here's Keith.
And we look to Tim Foley, the Pirate shortstop, to lead it off. Parker's on deck. Robinson will follow. 5-3 ball game as Flanagan pitches, and it's rolled to Belanger. And that thing is a little bit like a hot potato, isn't it?
But that's exactly why Earl Weaver is playing Mark Belanger in this, the first game of the '79 World Series. Look at the antelope.
That is not an easy play for Belanger. That ball's hit pretty good, but well, I don't know how many Golden Gloves he's had, but I'll tell you one thing, that's exactly why he makes them.
Look a little bit like Mr. Marty Murray.
A little bit.
Dave Parker 3 for 3. Double, single, scored a run. The only home run in the ball game by DeCinces for 2 runs in the first inning when Baltimore did all the scoring. No win. Big swing, change, and it's strike 1.
We told you right at the top of the game that the Bucks do well against southpaws. It is like Parker, let's face it, can hit anybody.
Tap toward DeCinces. Doug comes and throws and gets him. 2 down.
Well, there's the first time that Flanagan tonight has gone to the off-speed pitches to Parker.
Right.
The other 3 times he went to the hard stuff, and he said, well, Mr. Dave, you made a believer out of me.
Don't forget, on Saturday at 3:30 Eastern, Oklahoma and Texas out of the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Freddie Akers Horns undefeated. Barry Switzer Sooners undefeated, featuring the Heisman Trophy winner Billy Sims, and Bill Robinson hits it high in the air to right field, where Ken Singleton waits, calls off Al Bunbury, and makes the catch. And so very quickly, Flanagan retires the Pirates at the top of the 7th. And the score remains 5-3 Baltimore. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th inning now. John Denver's country boy music. In the background of the crowd standing and taking their 7th inning stretch, Don Robinson. He's out on the mound for Pittsburgh. He'll be working to Ken Singleton, Eddie Murray, and John Lowenstein. You've got a flamethrower on the mound, and you've got big guys coming to the plate who love to jump on the hard stuff. Robinson pitched 2 innings of the National League Championship Series. He got a save and a victory, but he still has a bit of a problem with a sore right shoulder. Doesn't bother him going an inning or 2, but get beyond that sometimes and it grabs him. And he's had a whole bunch of x-rays already on that shoulder, trying to figure out exactly what.
More than 30. More than 30. If he's going to have trouble, it would seem to be against Singleton and Murray and Lowenstein.
Singleton goes back over to the other side of the plate, being the switch hitter, and he takes strike 1, and Robinson certainly not backing down. He came right at him with a bullet. Pulls a string on 1 and misses, and it's 1-1. Those of you who have joined us a little late, we'll tell you in just a moment, as the pitch is inside to Singleton, just how it all happened. Pittsburgh jumped out in front by a score of 5-0, getting 5 runs, and there were errors of commission as well as omission in that first inning by Pittsburgh, enabling Baltimore to get the big 5. But the Pirates came back with 1 in the 4th and 2 more in the 6th, and that's where we are at 5-3. Don Robinson is the 4th pitcher for Pittsburgh. Keeson started, did not get out of the first inning. Rooker followed, pitched well, then Romo for an inning, and now Robinson. And the count is 3-1 with Ken Singleton. The temperature is in the 30s, and it's fouled away. Of course, the weather is one of 5 or 6 things that mankind can't do much about.
Welcome to the Winter Olympics.
The playing conditions are the same for both sides. Three-two pitch. Ball 4.
Now the Bird fans come alive. They know there's a flamethrower out there. They know Murray's a fastball hitter. Remember, he's had 25 home runs, 99 runs batted in. Tonight he's 1 for 1. The single came when he was batting right-handed. Sign, mood of the fans, all speaking for themselves. Again, for those of you who might have joined us late, Louis Kuhn decided at 5:24 after traversing the field with the head groundskeeper that this game could be played. The field looks at points choppy, but Everyone was assured that the risk of injury was minimal, if at all.
Murray stands in, also switching around. Something comes.
I don't know whether that was a sponge or part of the sponge of Nicosia just popped out to the right side. I was looking for Singleton to go to second base.
I thought it was a ball. That's how hard Robinson throws. He's exploding the glove.
He just knocked the padding right out of his glove.
Murray's the kind of hitter who can send Singleton home in a hurry, especially against this kind of pitcher.
Yeah. They give Eddie left center in the outfield defense. And he took his cut, and it's 2 strikes.
He got it by him.
Well, I'll guarantee if Nicosia was sitting back thinking about a little catnap with that foul tip that got him right dead center of the mask.
Yes, he's back in the ballgame now.
He's back in the ballgame, right.
Notice the paraphernalia he's wearing, a la Steve Yeager.
That's right. That's to keep the foul tip from moving up underneath the chest protector and getting in the Adam's apple or in the throat.
Lordy, how would you like to have that happen on a night like this?
Don't even think about it.
Oh, a foul tip on a night like this. 2 strike, and Murray, feeling that Robinson had taken too long, steps out on him.
There you see the way that he will hold the ball. He throws up over the top, and he'll hold it across that seam right there, and he gets it up, and that ball's going to ride on you. It'll take off.
Punch foul, left side, going to the crowd. They came out tonight. The umpires this afternoon were early. They knew the inclement conditions might require a large number of baseballs. They rubbed 10 dozen.
You might add, too, as we had that shot of Robinson, you hold that ball behind you where that first base coach can take a look at you. If you should change on different pitches, you better change in your glove. Otherwise, they will pick it up.
2-strike pitch to Murray with Singleton on first base, and it's just outside. No play at first as Singleton steps back in. Bastardo holding the inside corner with a left-handed batter at the plate. Garner is pulled halfway down. Parker is deep and right, respecting the power of Eddie Murray. 1-2 pitch misses, and it's 2-2.
You know, Howard, you were talking about the field in the condition that it's in right now, and a lot of people might be wondering, well, you've heard us talk about the infield was covered, but the outfield has not been covered. That's the Oriole first inning, how they scored the 5 runs. But I think they probably are thinking, well, why didn't they cover the outfield? Well, it can be covered. The only problem being with all the rain that they had yesterday, if they would have covered the field and then say the rain might have stopped a half an hour or so before game time, the groundskeeper here in Baltimore says, that's fine, I can do that. The only problem is it takes me 4 hours to take the tarp off.
The 2-2 pitch to Murray. Fouled away. Count holds right there at 2. That's Kenny Singleton going back to first base. When they go over to Pittsburgh, they go onto the rug.
That will make a difference.
Well, that's also, as much as you talk about the artificial surface, that is one thing that is a help when you have that kind of weather that they had yesterday. Of course, that chant in the background is Eddie, Eddie.
Fly ball to center field. Marino loops around and settles, makes the catch. 1 out. Singleton goes back to first base.
He changed up on that. That was not the fireball.
It's a good pitch.
Darn good pitch.
Here comes Big John Lowenstein. With 254 on the year. There are the numbers tonight. He's done a little bit of everything for Earl Weaver's ball club this year. He's pinch hitter, pinch runner, played all 3 outfield positions. Filled in a couple of times at first and third, and one time he played all 3 outfield positions in the same game this past season. You got 1 out and singled on first, and Robinson's fastball finds the target for strike 1. 94 miles an hour.
Ooh, I was going to say he had something on that pitch.
What would you feel like, Don, if you stuck one of those in on the handle?
In this cold?
Right there out on the end of the
You'd
bat.
have some harmony in your body, wouldn't you? That's outside.
Just take off the batting glove and just check all fingernail. That's all.
You go stick it in a bucket of hot water.
That's the fastest ball thrown tonight. That one, 96 miles per hour. It's great to be 22.
That's right.
That's a close pitch, but it missed. And it's 2-1.
Not the only thing you could think about Don Robinson as far as velocity is concerned, comparing him with these Baltimore boys, just watching him and trying to compare him with somebody in the American League. You'd have to think fastball or velocity-wise is Nolan Ryan or Jim Curran.
Two-one pitch. Foul back. It's even at 2.
You know, the thing that you hate to see, too, when you talk about 22 years of age, there's a story tomorrow right here from Memorial Stadium, Game 2, 8 o'clock Eastern. Then the scene shifts to Three River Stadium, Game 3 on Friday, same time, 8 o'clock Eastern. Guy 22 years of age, you just hate to see that little history of arm problems. You'd like to see him just stay healthy for about 10 or 12 years and see what he might do.
And especially one that you can't really define. They keep searching for the real problem. Again, that's close. It's full at 3-2. Another factor in Lowenstein's favor, one of the reasons that he's an awfully handy guy to have around, he has patience at the plate.
John's a good, steady ball player. Boy, he gives you an honest day's work every time he goes out there.
There goes Singleton. The pitch is hit high in the air to the left side. And Bill Robinson, the left fielder, makes the catch. You've got 2 out. Here comes the sensei now.
Watching Lowenstein run off the field, he's limping a little bit, Keith. I just wonder whether he might have pulled something out there in that outfield. Now, he might not go out for the next inning now that he's flied out. They might send Renicky out there.
Well, one thing is sure, the groundskeeper's not going to get hurt.
No.
Earl's getting a little itch.
There he is.
There's Renicky.
That's exactly what they'll do. They'll just go to Renicky right now.
I saw an indication somebody might have been Salvon, the Ralph Sanborn trainer, who touched Lowenstein on his left knee when he came in. So Gary Renicky will get the call. Here's the sensei. He hits the ball hard to right center field. Parker, with his dashing speed and his long arms, runs it down on one of the best plays of the night. And so, great catch by Parker. The Orioles are turned away. And we have played 7 innings of baseball, with Baltimore leading by a score of 5-3. As we watch Parker run it down, he just literally outran the baseball. You see him splashing through that puddle?
That's it.
So there we are, and back with more baseball after this word from our local stations. John Lowenstein is in the dugout now. He's out of the ball game, showing some signs of a sore left leg. Replacing him in left field, Gary Renicky, who's a fine defensive ball player.
And speaking of defense, that play, that inning-ending play by Parker, was exactly why we had to give him the edge over Singleton. He saved a run with the play. He has marvelous foot speed, especially for so big a man. As we said, he can do so many things. A superb athlete.
Willie Stargell leads off, and Willie Stargell has had his troubles with the lefty Mike Flanagan in the ball game. Struck him out in the 2nd inning, got him on a roller to second base. Though Willie did deliver a run batted in on that roller. He struck him out again, swinging in the 6th inning. He's been showing them that changeup, and Willie has not handled it. He comes back with that breaking thing that just drops out of sight, and now he's out in front, 2 strikes.
Willie came into this game troubled. He sent word up to me after I'd gotten to the booth. that his room was burglarized last night.
So
he was robbed of $2,000 and a lot of stereo equipment. And you hate to see that happen to anybody, let alone a man so fine as this. Wire service story just confirmed the information that Willie had sent up to me earlier.
Joe Safety came up earlier and confirmed it as well. Don Stanhouse now cranking up in the bullpen for Baltimore. He's going to be a free agent, I guess.
He's also a free spirit.
He is. Over in the Pittsburgh bullpen now, you have the left-hander Grant Jackson. Jackson, incidentally, was a pitcher for Baltimore back in the 1971 World Series. A 1-ball and 2-strike count on Willie Stargell.
Now you saw the catcher Dempsey. He wanted the breaking pitch, but just before the pitch was thrown, you could see him stick his arm out to the side and say, "Come out here. Come out here with it. Don't come over the top." Now he wants him over the top.
Hit hard and deep and so long. It's a 5-4 ball game. You can get Stargell for a while, but sooner or later.
Right now, this game is clearly in the pattern of the Pittsburgh team during the whole second half of the season. Tanner using relief pitcher on relief pitcher. The relief pitchers holding tight. They've gone 5 1/3 innings now as you look at this again without allowing a hit to the Birds. And then pecking away, getting the key hits, given the opportunity. Gone his 2-run blow, and now Stargell. So we've got a 1-run ball game.
Ray Miller is at the pitching mound. The pitching coach of Baltimore, has gone to have a conference with his left-hander.
Well, you saw Dempsey. He wanted him over the top, but he just didn't get over the top enough. He got it in between that sidearm breaking pitch and over the top, and he hung it right there. And Willie says, not again. There's Stargell down in the Pittsburgh dugout.
5-4 now. Buccaneers have 8 hits in the ball game. Baltimore has been nailed down by this succession of relief pitchers for Pittsburgh, and Bill Matlock stands at the plate and takes strike 1.
Bill didn't like the call, as you can see. Now, out of the park is Stargell duo against the southpaw, the winningest pitcher in the big leagues. 4 hits, 3 for Dave Parker, and the big home run just now by Willie Stargell.
Well, you can see that Madlock's a little hot, and he's talking with a man that will give it right back to him. I'll guarantee you that. Jerry Neudecker. He will not take too much.
Pitch is low. It's 1-1 to Matlock. Nicosia is on deck. Then Garner. The ball is hit to center field for Bumbry. 1 out. Now the Pirate catcher Nicosia comes up. He's been on base twice with a double and a single, and was caught looking by Flanagan back in the 3rd. Excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong man. It's Nicosia. I was looking at Garner's stats. He's 0 for 3.
He was on in that big air, though, by DeCinces, Keith.
Got around the 3rd. That ball is fouled off on the right side and drops into the crowd. Those are winter colors down in that crowd, too, with all the parkas out tonight. Oh, he really had Nicosia fishing. So Steve strikes out on a bad pitch, and you've got 2 down.
Well, he gets the changeup. He doesn't get it the height that I don't think he wants it, but he has enough off of it outside. And Nicosia, he just can't lay off.
And here's the little pepper pot with the 2 runs batted in the 6th inning. In the clutch after DeCinces had opened the door with a big error. And then DeCinces made a subsequent error that did not cost.
That's 6 strikeouts now for Mike Flanagan. And he's low to Garner. It'll be Bert Blyleven for Pittsburgh tomorrow against Jim Palmer. Not the usual season for Palmer. 1 ball and 1 strike now. Lowenstein's problem, sore ankle. Banged it up back on August 9. And he hobbled a bit with it, and it took him out of the ball game. Garner swings and misses.
Oh, another excellent change. And I would guess that sore ankle by Lowen, I just think that wet turf might have just aggravated.
Must have aggravated it.
That's all it was.
Night like this brings out, makes those little aches big aches sometimes too. DeCinces at third, lost it in the lights.
You could see that. Saw him trying to shield his eyes.
Trying to fight it all the way. That'll be a base hit. Now he's trying to side saddle. It gets up, and all of a sudden he says, whoop, it's in the lights. Tries to shade, tries to side saddle, get it out of the lights, and he just can't. He cannot do it. It won't come out.
Rene Stennett comes out as Chuck Tanner continues to use the bench.
There's another look at it, and that's tough. That ball gets in the lights, and it won't come out. You try and move to this side. You might, if you have time, move to the other side. And at times when it just doesn't come out, that's exactly what happens.
Doogie feels a little bit snake bit with what's happened to him in the later innings.
Stennett at the plate. He can do a lot of things for you, including play pretty solid second base for you. That was his position. But with Garner there, no way on a regular basis. A 5-4 ball game here in the top of the 8th inning, and Stennett punches it down into the right field side. It's going to drop in there for a base hit. It drops softly, enabling Garner to make the turn and go to third. And with 2 outs, you have runners at the corner.
Now you wonder how long Earl Weaver is going to go with this. A 1-run ball game, and the Pirates insistently chopping away at that once big lead.
Well, he kind of inside outs the
Did you
ball
see that?
just a little bit, and he just drops it down in the corner. And of course, Garner with 2 outs, he's going to be going all the way. He makes it to third easily. They know the arm of Singleton, who got on the ball fairly quickly, and Stennett was not going to be the third out going to second base. And the reason that they will stay with Flanagan right here
is because he's lefty.
Now, number one, he's won 23 ball games. He's the winningest pitcher in the major leagues, and you've got the left hand hitting Moreno standing at the plate.
But he has given up 10 hits, and he's given 4 of those hits to the left-handed hitters. 3 to Parker, as we said, and a big home run to Willie Stargell in this very inning.
Moreno 0 for 4 in the ball game. So if you're a Buccaneer fan, you believe in the law of averages, you probably are taking a little hope here. That's fouled away.
But that pitch up.
Well, you get that pitch up over the plate. Going to the whistle this time.
Well, she's been whistling all night.
Such faith, I suppose, should be rewarded. That big left-hander out there has got something to say about it. He's in front. He comes outside. The ball again blocked by Dempsey, and it's 1-1. Garner at third base, representing the tying run in a 5-4 ball game. And Rennie Stennett at first base.
Again in the pattern of this ball game, seizing upon opportunity. That's what the Bucks are trying to do right here because of the ball lost in the lights by Doug DeCinces.
Punch foul back in the crowd. That's 125 pitches now for Mike Flanagan.
It's a night's work.
Now the roar of the crowd as they get caught up and everything, and there's Mrs. Moreno. She's just kind of saying a little something to herself. And that's that Omar can pick up that tying run. But they'll get wrapped up, which you've seen in different ballparks this year when you get the count 2 strikes.
him out on a curve.
So Keith, Earl Weaver stuck with his ace.
That's a close pitch.
Boy, you think this is a nasty pitch. Besides being close, and it is right there.
So Flanagan hangs in and gets his man. And we've got a 5-4 ball game in the middle of the 8th inning. Speaking of baseball fever, here's a sample of what it's like in Baltimore in 1979 with Wild Bill Higgy leading the crowd.
He's a cab driver.
Yes, he
Here
is.
in Baltimore. And he's got all 53,000 plus people right with him.
Grant Jackson comes on now. He is the 5th Pittsburgh pitcher in this ball game. Jackson with a record of 8-5. He was in 72 ball games this past season. He'll be pitching to Billy Smith, Rick Dempsey, and Mike Flanagan unless Earl Weaver has something going and decides to hit for Flanagan. 5-4 ball game. Baltimore has not done anything with the stick since the 2nd inning. For Grant Jackson, who pitched for Baltimore in 1971, his wife in the crowd, now sitting on the other side.
He's a veteran of World Series play.
Here is Dower hitting for Smith. Rich Dower comes up to hit for Billy Smith. And will go to second base in the top of the 9th inning. Grant Jackson, the veteran left-hander, to the right-hander Dower, and he's low for ball 1. Dower on the year, you saw his numbers at .257. And there's a strike. There's the story on the Pittsburgh Relief Corps tonight, and it's quite remarkable.
Well, it really tells the story of the Pittsburgh team the entire second half of the season. How that bullpen core held together.
And that pitch is low.
You know, it's amazing that how Grant Jackson just keeps on going. He's been blessed with a great arm. He's been in 72 ball games prior to tonight, and he's still going strong.
That's fouled out of play.
First game up, these are the Philadelphia Phillies.
That's right. He's kind of a, I've often said he's kind of a left-handed Brooks Lawrence. Even to a degree looks like him. You remember?
Yes,
the
I sure do.
full-necked pitcher with the Reds and Cardinals back in the late 50s.
That ball is punched up in the crowd on the right side, out of play.
Meanwhile, he was a big find for the Yankees.
Yeah.
In the Kenny Holtzman deal.
Sure.
Won 6 and lost none in relief that year.
Made 19 appearances for New York. 76. And the 2-2 pitch. Dower looks low. Baltimore at bat in the bottom of the 8th inning. And it's shot up the middle by Dower. Base hit. He is becoming a very tough out.
You're right. He is a typical Baltimore ball player. The kind of guy gets no ink.
Look for this pitch here.
Yep, reached for it. Shot it into center. But he's gotten a lot of big hits this year. And he's solid in the field. He's matured into a ball player.
And just one more of the students and pupils out of USC and Rod Dato's crew.
That's right. Kent to Colby. The whip. Look at that delivery.
I'm telling you, if you met him on the street or in the store, you'd never in the world think he was a professional baseball player.
Nope, you'd figure he was teaching philosophy at Stanford.
Now the thing right now, Chuck Tanner says, we've only got one more whack at them, boys, and we're just down a run. We can't let them go out any further.
Jackson now will pitch to Rick Dempsey. Dempsey hitless. Fouls it back. Comes back to the screen. Not padded back there, and there's a microphone hanging down there. That's why it sounds like it hit in the bottom of the barrel. Booming back.
Jacoby, when you look at him, and you talked about, I've heard people say that they just don't believe that he has any muscles. And sometimes you look at the games that he's been in. He's been in 94. And sometimes you wonder, boy, he has really been some workhorse for this Pirate staff.
Probably doesn't have any muscles. That's why he hasn't had a sore arm or anything.
He does a job.
The Baltimore bullpen is quiet. Mike Flanagan has come to the on-deck circle, so Earl Weaver is going to go with him in the top of the 9th inning, and Grant Jackson is outside to make the count 1 ball and 1 strike to Dempsey. There's Michael.
This is the kind of ball game, Weaver, you don't want to lose any kind, but never won when you build up a 5-run edge with your ace pitcher.
Jackson pitching fine to decide with that one to make it 2-1.
Cocky Badger, Mike called him. But right now, a little bit troubled.
Well, right now, he's just saying, let me get one more. Normally in a situation like this where you'd have a designated hitter, well, you'd probably see Dempsey bunting because the pitcher would not be hitting that.
It's true. Excellent point.
Pops him up. Moreno, with his great speed, comes gliding in to make the catch. 1 out.
But that's the way it is this year with no DH in effect in this series. Next year they go back to the DH in effect, alternating years.
That's exactly. The odd years, like now, they have no DH. The even years, they go to the designated hitter. Look at Flanagan. He gets a standing ovation.
Crowd of more than 53,000 up.
You might see Flanagan bunt.
Right.
This year, in a ballpark estimate, the winning team will probably get about $30,000 per person. The losing team probably about $25,000 per person.
Madlock certainly thinks he's going to bunt.
He's going to
shake hands with him. And he did offer the bunt.
Well, Earl Weaver right here, he's just going to gamble left-hander to left-hander. He's going to gamble Bunbury against Jackson. That's all, if Flanagan can move his man. So I'll take that gamble with 2 outs.
Look out. And that one got a piece, bit Steve Nicosia. Hit him hard.
Dower was all the way around to third. He thought that might have been a wild pitch, but it just got a piece of the bat as Flanagan tried to move back out of the way. There it is. Boy, you think that doesn't hurt on a night like tonight. You know, I was wondering about this field, guys. I just, you know, we're not going to get any help because it's going to freeze tonight or whatever. So this field is not going to dry out overnight.
Not much.
Just have to hope for some sunshine tomorrow.
We may get a monsoon.
There's a strike.
What was it Edward Bennett Williams said last night? They asked him how he felt about the postponement, and Ed said, Bowie Kuhn is a man of courage, a man of steel, who would call off a game in the face of a monsoon.
1-2 pitch to Flanagan. He's gone. Strikes out. Big out.
That is a big out.
So Bumber will come now with 2 down and Dower at first base.
Now here's where you go to your scouting books. Here's where you think about the move of Grant Jackson at first base. Even though you've got Bunbury at the plate, you know that Bunbury's going to have to hit one over somebody's head or up the alley somewhere, and Pittsburgh has got speed all over that outfield to try and score Dower from first base. You're liable to see Dower as he's just standing looking around at first base, seeing to where his defense is. You're liable to see him take off, especially if Jackson does not have that real good move.
Dower this season, though, had no particular record of running. Pitch is inside.
He's not one of the faster birds.
But still, it is the unexpected move, if there is such a thing, with two teams that have studied each other as closely as these have. With 2 out. In the bottom of the 8th inning, a 5-4 ball game. Baltimore leading. Dower's single broke the string of shutout innings by Pittsburgh relief pitching. They had blanked them since the 2nd inning. Jackson's snapping slider is just low.
Dower's taking a pretty safe lead at first base, and you've got a pretty good hole on that right side to hit through, with Garner cheating a little bit over towards the bag at second base and Stargell holding Dower at first. There's that hole.
Hits it to the shortstop Foley. He goes to the second baseman Garner to get the force on the runner coming down. And after 8 innings of play, the score: Baltimore 5 and Pittsburgh 4. And here's the play that completed 8. As Foley played it well, looked it all the way into his glove, waited for Garner, and got the 3rd out. Final chance for the Pirates coming up. Rich Dower stays to play second base for Baltimore in the top of the 9th inning. He had 17 errors at second base during the course of the season. There's your line score in the ball game. For Pittsburgh, Tim Foley, Dave Parker, Bill Robinson, and Mike Flanagan on 126 pitches, trying to go the distance. Pittsburgh this year, if you like to play the numbers game, won 25 ball games in the 9th inning.
Well, you couldn't ask to have the cards stacked any better than what you have it right now. Here you've got the pesky little guy, Foley, trying to lead it off and get on base if he can.
With Parker with 3 hits coming next. And Robinson, who by Flanagan's own admission in the interview that we did with him that you heard, saying that Robinson troubles him and always has.
Now here is Foley. And Flanagan has a strike. On the ground to the shortstop, Belanger. High throw, but Murray flags it down for out number 1. Looked like that ball was going to sail for a second.
Did at the start. This turned out to be a tight, tough ball game where it started out with the appearance of a rout. Excuse me, because of the 5 Baltimore runs in the first inning. Here's a man who can tie it up with 1 swing, and that's Mrs. Parker.
Tie it up.
Tie it up.
She's not the only Pirate fan open for that. And he's capable of tying it up, I'll guarantee you that.
1 swing could do it. But even as you talked about the Bucks winning 25 games in the 9th inning, the Birds have such a terribly remarkable statistic for holding on to a lead when they go into the 9th ahead. But they've been in a holding pattern. And what a game for the Bucks if they could win it at Baltimore against the ace.
Ball is hit on the ground up the middle. Base hit for Dave Parker.
It didn't take him long. So it's 4 hits for Dave Parker and a brilliant play in right center field on DeCinces to save a run.
Look at this swing again. That short stride. Just pop and glide, and that's it.
Well, I could put that on the first tee.
Oh, man.
I don't think this man can hit it out. 24 home runs on the season.
Stanhouse and Martinez. Martinez, the left-hander. Stanhouse, a right-hander. They've got Parker picked off. He's safe. Parker goes barreling into second base, and he clobbers Belanger, and the ball is apparently loose, and Belanger is down.
I tell you, he went in hard, and he just actually forced that air. He went in, he talked about an 89-foot slide, and that's exactly what happened. They have him dead to rights right here.
Yes,
now Murray can't get it out of the glove, though.
That's the problem. That's what I wanted to call attention to. You're seeing Parker go down, and he was almost down there by the time the ball passed him, and that was the problem. Had Murray made the throw promptly, it would have been no contest.
Here's Murray. Now they got him. Now he double clutches a little bit.
Notice.
He reaches in. And look how long it takes for that ball to get there. But look at this slide by Parker, and he is right on Belanger's glove. And he just kicks it out, and who does that remind you? Look at it pop in the air. Good camera work.
What does that remind you of?
Yes,
Stanky and Rizzuto.
That's right.
Back in 1951, when Eddie Stanky kicked it out of the Scooter's glove.
There it is.
Yeah, but he's out.
That's a good angle. He was
Belanger
out.
can
But
hang on.
the play became needlessly close, as Don pointed out, because of the lateness of the Murray throw.
Belanger stays. He's all right.
You give credit to the second base umpire. That is Russ Getz. He was right on top of that play.
Charge Belanger with an error. Each team now with 3 errors in the ball game. The tying run at second base. 1 out. Robinson, your batter.
That was a great move by Flanagan. He had him dead to rights.
And you know, he really hadn't gone over there all night long with any serious move at all.
Well, he got 8 this year. He's really worked on that. Now the pitch to Robinson. And Bill, gotta be, the adrenaline is just the thumpity thump.
Earl Weaver, a manager who's not afraid of the second guess, staying still with his ace.
Willie Stargell is on deck. Pitch blocked. It's in the dirt. Dempsey comes up with it.
Well, the thing right here, Weaver is not sitting in the good position. If he goes out to make the move to bring the right-hander in, he knows
That's
one
right.
thing. Tanner's sitting over there with John Milner on the bench, too. Or Mike Easler. Eddie Ott, he's got a bunch of left-handers over there just waiting in the wings.
Good pitch. Flanagan now 131 pitches.
That's a long night's work.
I tell you, this little guy here, he's showing you a little fortitude out there tonight.
Well, especially when he had Robinson, Parker picked off, and he thought that would be it.
Up. Cued to the second baseman, Dower. 2 down. Parker at third.
So it comes down to this. The big man who homered in his last time at bat to open the 8th inning to make it a 1-run ball game. The man who many think will be the MVP in the National League.
Fans on their feet, waiting for out number 3. They'll watch it standing up.
Willie Stargell, on playing in the series, says, quote, getting into the World Series is like savoring a fine meal. It's something you take slowly and enjoy every minute. It's the best of 7 feast. Inside, ball 1.
There is one of the few times that Stargell's had a fastball tonight. He's seen a lot of breaking pitches, hit his home run off a breaking pitch. That could be just to put something in the mind of Stargell.
That came on a pitch, but Dempsey wanted it over the top. Flanagan didn't put it there. Strike. 1-1.
This man can do to a low ball, Don, and you know it, what Reggie Jackson can do to a low ball. Golf it right out of the ballpark.
Oh, he's an excellent low ball hitter. He'll hit it 9 miles. He won't just get it out of the ballpark. He might have hit it clean over everything. There you get the deuce, get the change. Look out.
Low.
I'll tell you that Dempsey's put in a night's work. This is what we meant when he said he was so great back there.
The Baltimore infield way back.
Coming inside.
High pop left side. Belanger going out. Makes the catch. Baltimore wins it 5-4.
What a tough victory, and what an augury for this World Series. Each team playing according to its pattern of the year. It's really incredible when you look at it. Baltimore holding together with its pitching ace all the way. And the Bucks chopping, getting the great relief pitching, just failing.
Well, you really can't say enough, I don't think, for the gutty performance of Mike Flanagan. He stayed right there. He fought him tooth and nail, and he ends up on top.
The line score, Baltimore 5-6-3, Pittsburgh 4-11-3. Back after this message and a word from our local station.